Hi, I'm Charlotte Lee.
I'm Spencer Lee.
And we have 2 kids that have an autism diagnosis. We have tried every therapy that we could possibly finance or afford. Everything from diet, where we limited everything like gluten, casein, artificial flavors, colors, preservatives, and eggs, to methylated B12 shots. You name it, we've done it. We've even spent 80 hours in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. We've had our kids genetically tested. We've done just about everything we could think of. PT, OT, speech and language therapy, AIT, ABA. The list is very, very long. We've sunk at least $65,000 in trying to recover our 2 kids since 2005. Our oldest is 9, and she is doing very, very well. We started doing homeopathy with Pierre in August of last year, last part of August. The first 8 weeks were kind of tough, but after that, things really began to develop in her, and the autism began to kind of melt away to this point where she's just a delightful kid and doing exceptionally well. Ben also, he is doing well. He has had further to go than his sister. He was 4 before he ever really started to talk at all. The first 8-10 weeks were really difficult for both kids on the remedy, but I tell you, everything that has happened, it's like they've become present. They want to interact, they want to talk and carry on conversation, they want to know what we're doing, and they want us to be involved in what they're doing. We've been able to get them off all the meds, which we didn't start until about 2 years ago. This effectively has treated the root cause of it.
We've seen demonstrable gains in our kids, and we thank Pierre and his attentiveness to our needs.
Right. I like that. Hope you do too. Just want to show, how does this work? Okay. This is a new website we're launching today. It's the Homeopathy. We'll be posting other presentations that explains homeopathy in different ways. Today I really wanted to present the deeply human aspect of homeopathy, the love of it, the empathy of it. Nature did not put it in for no reason. One exciting feature of this website that we solely need, actually, is there's going to be a survey and a question as well as a questionnaire. We're putting a survey as well as a questionnaire, and that will help us in tracking improvement more accurately. So this is really for you. I'll give you a picture of it. Here it is. Nice. So, any questions? Oh, that's a good song. Lovely. Ponder.
Whenever you keep talking about, we recently started doing homeopathy. We have 2 sons with the diagnosis of classic autism. We've done all the remedies too, and we recently started seeing Dr. in St. Louis, Missouri. And I guess I kind of jumped into it because all other things were exhausted, nothing was working, and our chiropractor suggested the homeopathy. And he's using one remedy, and me, and like I'm not there to see it naturally, but that's the way it's been. The 4 treatments that we've done, we're using a remedy called senna, and they come out all of a sudden one day with all this language, but as soon as we give them another remedy every 6 weeks is what we're doing, bam, it's full rage again, and then all of a sudden they just wake up one day.
It's hard for me to comment on a case of someone else.
I'm just wanting to know, the question is it you're saying it is normal though sometimes?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Let's clear that. I'm not saying that, no. And also, like I said at some point, using a homeopathic remedy does not mean you're doing homeopathy, you know? So the point is to go deep. Again, maybe not necessarily get the right remedy. Hopefully the depth will define the remedy. That's really the point. But can't be right all the time. But the method of getting there has to be accurate. It can't be superficial. It can't be just a few questions and give, I think, CINA, C-I-N-A? Yes. Yeah, which is commonly for gastrointestinal problems, particular kind. Each one has a particular kind. For CINA, it's part of the compositae family, and the compositae family have an issue with penetration, you know? Generally, the compositae family have a lot of allergies because there's no barrier. But CINA could be given. When I hear these types of remedies, very common remedies, I'm a little iffy. The remedies I give are very out of mainstream, if you will. You know, we have thousands of remedies. When I hear polycrest, I'm a little reticent. Yeah. Loosen up. Put yourself aside. There's only one person that counts. It's the child. That's it. You know, all the preconceived ideas and so on, put them out of the window. I mean, I'm very sorry, but you don't count. It's just a child. And sometimes I make that point very harshly. Sometimes I try, you know, I'm in a bad mood. So I say, put you know, but I mean it in a gentle way, you know. It's really, it's pushing ourselves aside, myself as well, and trying to let the process occur and voice to come. It will be a pure voice. Yeah. Oh. One second. Thank you. Pandas is what I call a satellite to autism, a satellite to the ASD complex. A satellite requires its own remedy because the state overshadows the whole state. Generally, there's a pretty, in true pandas, the panda state comes over. Child still has autism, but the behavior, a lot of things change, the state, and so we need a remedy for that. I came to realize that in children, for a while I was treating so-called acutes, like such as pandas or colds, ear infection, and so on and so forth, with the same remedy. But in children, the constitution is not set in stone. It's not as set as it is in ourselves. In classical homeopathy now, because we reach such a degree of accuracy, we can give a constitutional remedy for an acute problem, and very commonly it'll be fine. But for children, that's not what happened. The constitution is still loose. There are indications for it, in terms of a remedy, but when a pondus comes, I need to give another remedy. That's very problematic for me.
Three things. I wanted to know what the RHOM stands for, the difference between homeopathy and homeopathic, and my son won't take pills. He'll only take drops that taste good, and do you have a way to remedy that or solution to that?
Yeah, I commonly give actually liquid doses.
You do give, okay.
Yeah, or actually at first they usually come in pill and I ask to make it into a liquid dose. If I feel confident with the remedy, I generally ask to order LM, and usually those come in a liquid form. Ours home relates to registered with the Society of Homeopaths.
Difference between homeopathy and homeopathic. I don't understand the difference between homeopathy and homeopathic.
Well, you might want to have a homeopathic effect. Homeopathic is not necessarily homeopathy. Let me get into something here. Let me open a concept. Democracy is homeopathy. It's similar. It's what we like most. That's why it's homeopathy up to 50.1%. Think about it. It's not 100%, 50.1. Dictatorship is what goes against the public will. So it's anti. I continue. Anti, and many, many, many more. Medical system. Yeah. Go ahead.
With the patients that you have that you've actually been able to get to the central core and all the crystals are starting to fade away, is there ever a situation where they progress and they get out of rhythm or out of sync with the core?
Oh, yeah.
So then how long does that process?
Everything and anything can happen. It's not like an organic disease. ASD is not like an organic disease. It's on its own, so anything can happen. Case management is extremely important. Extremely important. You can have the right remedy and still miss the whole thing. And you can, of course, have the wrong remedy, and then you think, okay, I did homeopathy and didn't do. No. We can't get them all. I wish I could. That's why we refine the system all the time. So the reaction is what is at the time. Got to see, we look at whether the emotional plane is better. Is it, if the physical plane is dragging along, well, what is happening? If the emotional plane and the mental plane is clearly better, we're on the right track, most likely. And it will just take, it's just a matter of weeks or maybe a month for the diarrhea to clear or something like that. It's really, it's kind of juggling, but the main thing is to not look at it as like this. It's always in a state of flux, this way. And we look at all the facets and make a decision then. That's really far more accurate than just saying this one thing is off, so therefore we got to change everything. No, let's look at all the facets of it, and then we can make an accurate decision. Or reflect a thought-out decision. That's very good. Yeah.
How often do you give the remedy?
Depends. Sometimes it can be every 3-4 weeks, and sometimes it's every 5-7 days. The more the remedy is given, the less I like it. But sometimes it is needed. And then for a couple of weeks, it might be needed. It may be needed to give the remedy every couple of days or every 3 days, and at times even several times a day. And then 2 or 3 weeks can elapse, and they'll be fine.